Welcome to this first video on my second channel. If you're a viewer of my main channel, you already realized the setup looks a little bit different this time. I'm actually not gonna put so much effort into the production quality of these videos. It's more like I want to focus on the content itself. You can already see I'm freestyling. I'm not doing any script or something like that because I want to keep the barrier to produce something pretty low. This channel is all about me building products and you being a part of that. I want to share as much as I can with you, my learnings, my struggles, my wins hopefully, and even things like the actual revenue numbers if we get there. So I want to build this in an open startup fashion. I also founded a company for this purpose. And in this video, I want to show you what I've built. I've actually built this for the last, I would say, couple of years. So it's been quite a long time. I've had a 1.5 year pause in between there, so it's not actually building it 2 years. It's more like 3 months of work, then a very long break in between, and then another 3 months of work. Yeah, what have I built? I built a personal dashboard. This is something I've been looking for quite some time. There are some options when it comes to dashboards. Apple even has an integrated one, which looks like this. And of course, that's not something I would like to use. It has none of the capabilities that I would want to have in a personal dashboard. And yeah, a personal dashboard is exactly that, personal. It should be configurable. It should look the way you want it to look. It should have the features that you want it to have. And so I started building one my own. And so what I would like to have in my personal dashboard is first an overview or a bird's eye view of my ambitions, of my goals, of my to-dos, things that I want to get done or have to get done. I also want to have easy access to potential meetings that I have online, like online calls. So a Google Calendar integration is important. I also want to see what my financials are doing. For me, that's crypto or mostly Bitcoin as a big part. I want to see how my portfolio is performing in that regard and what the Bitcoin price looks like. I'm also a creator, so for me, social media growth is important to some degree. I want to see how my videos are doing, what the views are like or impressions. I want to see my Twitter growth, for example. These are all things that are important to me and that I want to have on one single screen. And the last part, and this is actually an essential part as well, is health. I want to know what my sleep was like from the last night because I think sleep is extremely important. If you have a day where you need to make important decisions, you should have a good night's of sleep beforehand. And I'm also definitely a runner, so things like VO2 max are important to me. Maybe even step goals or seeing how many runs and how long my runs were during a single month. So these are all things that I want to see, and I want to have them all on one screen. So I think it's time to show you what I've built so far, where I am, and we'll tell you more about the different features and where we will go from here. Now, this is what the dashboard currently looks like for me. As you can see, it's already set up. I have a lot of different things in here because I'm actually personally using this. I wanted to have a product like this, so that's why I built it in the first place. And I'm using it every single day and pretty much throughout the day. I'm using it for my to-do management and for all the other things that I just mentioned. This is what it looks like currently. I will walk you through the different components. And I think it's actually what we're gonna do right now. So first of all, we have to-dos, a feature that I think is very important. It's not super powerful in the version that it is right now, but it has everything that I need essentially. It has your to-dos, of course. Every to-do can have sub-to-dos. For example, right now I'm recording this video, so I can check this off once I'm done with the video. You can, of course, also edit to-dos. For example, if I want to whatever, I just changed this here to 4 p.m. or something like that, then of course it also saves it in here. I can of course add to-dos, so let's say this is a new to-do and it has 1, 2, 3, whatever, maybe 4 sub-to-dos. I can also define deadlines for each of them. Right now there are no reminders or something like that, but that will be something that will be part of the app later on, so that you get reminders if a to-do is due in a specific time. Yeah, just save that and it pops up down here. So this is a scrollable container. You have your new to-do right here with the different sub-to-dos, and yeah, I can expand these or make them small once again. That's basically all there is to this feature. Of course, I can also delete to-dos by archiving them. Very simple, and that's all there is to it. Goals is essentially exactly the same. I just like to have them separated. So for me, for example, I use the to-do feature more on a daily basis, whereas goals has a focus on maybe like weekly goals or even monthly goals. For example, my YouTube goal for March was to publish 4 videos. The last one is to be decided, but the other 3 are already completed. And CC release, this one will be checked off after this video is released, because essentially this video is like a soft release of the product that I've built. I will only show it to a very small selected amount of people, which is you. I won't even do a tweet on it for now. I just want to have like a handful of users on it essentially, who will give me feedback and tell me what needs to be improved before I can really do like a bigger release and show it to more people, because the software should be stable at the point where I'm releasing it into the open. Yeah, so to-do and goals, very simple. I think everything is set there already. Next up is crypto in the middle, of course, an important feature for me at least. You have your watch list right here, which is horizontally scrollable. You have a nice graph of the active asset, which is Bitcoin right now. Could also be Ethereum, for example, and the graph changes. Or we could do something really boring like Tether, which is always $1. And this watch list, of course, is configurable. You can add assets, remove assets, and so on. But first of all, I want to show you the portfolio section, which you can show or hide here. The portfolio section, of course, is your portfolio that you have in crypto. I just put in random numbers right here because I don't want to actually show you my real portfolio. So I just have Bitcoin, Ethereum, and USDT in here right now. I'm not really much of a multi-coiner, more like a Bitcoin maxi, so I don't really have the need for all of these different cryptocurrencies that you can find here, that you can also search. For example, I want to have whatever, AVAX or Avalanche in my portfolio. I can just add it here. Maybe I bought 10 of it, add it to the portfolio, and it shows up here. As you can see, this is also a scrollable container, so I can have as much as I want in here. Maybe I bought some BNB. Yeah, that's basically it. Of course, I can also remove these. Maybe I sold five of my AVAX, and maybe I sold all of my BNB. Then it looks like this. BNB is gone, AVAX is reduced to 5. Next to the asset name and the logo, I have the price of the asset here, I have my position of the asset, and I have the value of my position essentially. So this multiplied by this essentially. Also I have the 1-day change in here, and of course everything gets up into the portfolio, where I also have the total value of the portfolio and also the 1-day change in percentage terms and real dollar terms. Many things can be changed here, many things can be approved on here. Maybe things like, maybe the dollar is not your primary currency, you want to have it displayed in euro or pound or Australian dollars or whatever. Also, time frames is one thing. Right now you only have this time frame, which is I think a 1 week or a 2 week time frame, something like that. Maybe you're interested in 1 hour time frame or in a yearly time frame or something like that. So of course these are all options that I want to add in the future. But yeah, of course this software is not complete. It's at a stage where I think it's ready for a release, where I want to show it to the world, but it will get expanded more and more. Next up is the weather section. Very simple. You just put in wherever you live or where you currently are. For example, I'm close to Innsbruck, so I put in Innsbruck right here, and that's basically it. I get the weather, what it's like. It's sunny, 16 degrees. I get the city, I get the weather of the coming days, and I have a nice graph for today to see what the weather will be like in the next few hours. Sometimes it shows the actual numbers, sometimes it doesn't. It's really strange actually. See, now the numbers are there. That's like a small bug that I need to fix in the future. Next up is socials, a component that I find very important for myself. Maybe it's not for you, maybe you're not a creator or someone who posts a lot, so it doesn't really make sense for you then. But for me it is important, and right now I'm only able to connect a Twitter account, which I've already done, as you can see. But there will be YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, and TikTok coming very soon. I'm already working on that. So you have more flexibility here. So you see all your different follower accounts right here. Also see the change of your follower account since the day before. So if I logged in yesterday and logged in today, you can see I gained 0 followers. You can change that, by the way. Follow me on Twitter. Next to the follower count and the follower changes, I also have the latest 10 content pieces right here. So for Twitter, that's the last 10 tweets. As you can see, the graph looks a little bit stupid right now because all of my tweets are like very low impressions, like 1,700, 500, maybe 6,000 right here. But this one really got so many impressions that the graph looks sort of stupid. It was my tweet on the best Bitcoin meme of all time, which is the Matrix meme, and it got 200,000 impressions and 2,589 likes. So of course this one is gonna completely disrupt the rest of the chart. Yeah, as you can see, you get the impression count and the like count depending on what platform will be connected here. I will maybe also show other things that might be interesting, but for Twitter I think these are really the two most important ones. And as you already saw, if I click on these bars, I get to the tweet that they are referring to. The notes section, once again, doesn't need a whole lot of explanation in my eyes. I use it as a clipboard or to store some information that I'm referring to often. For example, this is from running. It's like heart rate zones where I see the different heart rate zones I'm supposed to be training in. You can just add notes here, whatever. You can remove notes. For example, I have these dots right here. These are the different nodes I can work on. Yeah, very, very simple, but useful in my eyes. I use it sometimes to store information here for a short amount of time, something that I maybe want to copy and need at a later time to send it to someone else. Then next up, meetings. This is something I'm very happy with and that I definitely use almost daily. What this is a connection to your Google Calendar. If you don't use Google Calendar but use Outlook or something like that, I will integrate it in the future. At least I will try to, but for now it's just Google Calendar. So what this does is it imports all of my today's meetings, for example, which are these two, and all of my upcoming meetings for the next week. So right now this is just those three. Actually dummy data, I just added some more to show you what this looks like. If the meeting has a location, it will also be displayed here. And interestingly, which is what I use this for example, if the meeting has a connected video call via Zoom or Google Hangouts, you can just click on start and you instantly get redirected to this link. So you don't need to open your Google Calendar anymore, which I think is pretty cool. You already know what's happening today because I show it in here. I can also show you what it looks like if I add a new meeting. For example, here on Monday, add new meeting, save it. If you would log in new, it will already automatically display here. Otherwise, just refresh and here it is, add new meeting, Monday, 9 a.m. Very easy, very useful in my eyes. Next up is health. As you can see, the only component that's still missing. It's actually pretty hard to get this ready and to make it work. I've come pretty far already. The Garmin authentication was one of the hardest thing I've ever done, coding-wise, I would say. It was really complicated, but I got it working now, so now it's more a question of fetching the data and then displaying the data. And I also want to do the same for other health services like Apple, Samsung, and Fitbit. This is what the health section could look like. It's like a rough idea that I have. You can have a graph that displays different things, the things that matter to you. Maybe it's steps, maybe it's heart rate, maybe it's amount of sleep. If you're a runner, maybe it's VO2 max. If you are into strength training, maybe it's reps or total weight or something like that. So I will fetch data for the health and the fitness stats from your smartwatch or from your smartphone. Maybe body battery or something like that is important to you. Yeah, and as you can see in here, I believe health is so important that the health section will actually eventually be on top and not crypto. But that brings me to the next point. This dashboard is a personal dashboard, which of course means it should be configurable. It should look the way you want it to look. If you don't care about socials, turn it off. If you care about the weather a lot, you should be able to pull the weather up here and make it your top priority, why ever you would need to do that. If more features get in here, more components, as you can see, there's still space for more components. Maybe this is not the last one. Maybe there will be 5, 6, 7, 8 more. You should be able to decide which ones should be where, how much space they should take. For example, if you use the to-do section a lot, as you can see, it has limited space. Maybe you want to drag this downwards. Maybe you want your whole left side for the to-dos. You should be able to do that. You should also be able to define your own color schemes and things like that. So I think making things configurable, making things personal is really one of the next steps for this app. Another big feature I'm thinking about is I call it the executive summary. Because if you're in a big company, you usually have some sort of dashboard, of course. And if you're an executive, you usually get like a short summary of what's going on inside your company. You get a report from someone that shows everything that's going on in a short summary way. And I want this application to create this sort of summary for you automatically. So maybe there will be a button right here, something like a notification button or something like that, that you click, and then maybe a short small modal pops up. And the modal should tell you everything you need to know in a short, precise manner. For example, how many followers you gained on social media since your last login, how your portfolio performed since your last login, which to-do deadlines are approaching, how you slept last night, if you should make important decisions today, or even if you should bring an umbrella if you leave the house. So like a very short way to tell you everything that's going on from a bird's eye perspective, and it gets all the data from your dashboard that has all the integrated services from different social media platforms, from your calendar, and so on. So I think that's very powerful, and I think it can be very useful. And that's a bit zoomed out, so I have to say there are many things I'm thinking about, and I will do another video where I talk more about like big picture thoughts, because right now this is still very, very detailed for the specific components on this specific video. And the video is also getting way longer than I expected it to be. It just takes some time to walk you through the different sort of components that I have right here. Of course, you can test this out now. It's free for now. I will monetize it eventually. I will also accept Bitcoin payments, of course. But it is free for now, so please check it out and let me know what you think. What do you like? What sucks in your eyes? What features are you missing? And yeah, maybe some general thoughts on the whole idea, my approach, the design, whatever. Whatever ideas you have, I'm very open to them, so please don't hesitate to contact me via Twitter DM, email, in the YouTube comments, whatever. I'm open to everything. The last thing I actually want to talk about here is my goal with the app, or my view on its success, maybe something like that. I would say I'm a rational optimist, so I am optimistic because otherwise I wouldn't build anything. If you're a pessimist, you cannot build, you cannot make, you cannot create things in my eyes. But I'm also a rationalist, which means I don't delude myself. I don't think, or at least I don't try to delude myself. I don't think this is an app that will absolutely change the world. I don't think this app will make me a billionaire or something like that. But do I think this app might be interesting for a niche group of people who think like me, who operate like me, who have the same interests as me? Yeah, why not? Why not? It might be interesting to them, and maybe they are willing to pay for it. So that's how I look at things. I also recently saw a tweet by Balaji and Austin Allred, who were talking about personal dashboards, or the need for a personal dashboard. And so when I saw this, and Austin Allred was even specifically asking who is building this, or is someone building this, I was like, interesting. So there are at least a few people around the world who would be interested in something like that. Maybe it's not exactly how they envision it. Maybe they envision something else, or they have different needs. But that's exactly why I'm publishing this now, because I want to know what your needs are. I want to understand what you would like to see in a dashboard like this, and what would turn you into a user. Once again, I will build this in an open manner, which means I will share as much as I can with you about the developing process, about things that change within the app, about my thoughts on the small and big picture, and even things like revenue numbers, user numbers, and things like that. So if you're interested in that, please consider giving this video a thumbs up and also subscribing to the channel for further content, and then I see you next time.